Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome to Webdematics. This is your host Subhendu Bhatt, and in today's video, I will do a Vue.js crash course. So a lot of Vue.js courses or a lot of Vue.js related stuff are coming. So this series, I will teach you everything you need to know about Vue.js. Just to get started with Vue.js, you will feel a lot comfortable working with Vue.js. So I will drop all of my experience in these series of videos. So let's get started. Alright, so let's learn Vue.js. So Vue.js is a framework that help us build a complex user interfaces like single page application where everything loads up without a page refresh. So let's start learning Vue.js. So first thing, we can use Vue in two ways. One is simply in our existing HTML pages by including Vue as a script, and then we write our code. So let's start from simple. So first thing, let's go and create a folder in our desktop. Let's go call it simple Vue and open this up on VS Code. Okay, here we go. So first thing, we create the index.html and here write a simple HTML. I'll use this to generate a HTML code. And here in head section we can include any of these scripts, and let's include this on head section. You can do on body section, but it's better to do it here because it loads everything Vue is required to render a page. And here we'll create any div name, let's say simple. So this is the ID with simple. And let's go and generate a script tag over here. And let me put it first and let me explain. Alright. So here we have included Vue.js and we have created a new Vue instance. So what we are saying is in this element, let me change it to simple. So we are instantiating a new object, Vue object, and we are saying, alright, so whatever inside this div with ID simple, I will create a Vue instance. So everything that will be rendered here will be controlled by Vue now. So we load everything over here. For example, let's say in S2 we want to load a message, and let's go and open this up on browser. Okay, so we have opened both side by side. So we are loading this data over here. So what Vue is doing is it is just binding or making the connection between this variable and this variable in DOM with the data property. So one more thing here, we can change, let's say message equals to altered message. There we go. So we can alter the data and everything will be changed in real time. So this data in DOM is getting bound or bind with the data property over here. So in real project we don't use Vue in this way by importing using CDN and doing all these kind of stuff. So what we do is we use Vue CLI to generate the project and write the multiple components there. So this is also possibilities if you just want one or two component, and you can create like this, but we'll do it using Vue CLI. Alright, so here is the Vue CLI documentation. If we go to get started, so here is the installation instruction. First thing, we just need to install it using install it globally using npm by doing npm install -c this, and once it is installed you can verify it using Vue version, and if it shows some version, that means Vue CLI is installed. So let me open up my terminal. There we go. And let's create a new project. So we do Vue create and then name a project, simple. So it is quite easier because we don't have to manually create folder and make all settings for Vue project. We can simply, let me make it a bit bigger. So Vue-dash version. So I'm using, I think, 4.5 CLI version. Just make sure this shows some version. That means Vue is installed. Now let's do Vue create and then name of let's say nice to do, and then it will create a folder for us with all Vue related settings. Okay, so it asks us some questions. So which version you want to install. So you can do manually select features, and here you can use space to select or unselect. So we need Babel, we don't need this linter, so I hit space to unselect it. So space to select, space to unselect, arrow keys up and down to move up and down. So we can choose a router, Vuex, all good stuff, but for now we just use these two things, and enter to go inside and choose options. So you want Vue 3 or Vue 2. So Vue 3 is not in not production ready right now because it is saying preview. So we can do Vue 3, but first we need to learn Vue 2 because it is a lot of old projects are still on Vue 2. So what I recommend for beginners is first learn Vue 2 and then move on to Vue 3. All right. So there is not quite difference, just one or two thing. Now first learning Vue 2 will help us to learn both of the technologies. So hit enter. So yeah, let's go with in package. Do you want to set preset? No. So this saving preset will do next time. There is a already defined preset, you don't have to select these manually. So I'll say no, and now it will create a project. So it is creating this project inside this folder and doing all good stuff. Okay, it will take some time. After about 5 minutes it installed application, and now it's saying just cd into that and run npm serve. So first thing we'll cd into this, and first we'll open this up on VS Code, and now we'll explore this. So if you see on left side, it has, let me make it a bit bigger so that all you mobile watching from mobile will see it better. So first thing you'll see it's node modules. It is all the packages that node uses to run the Vue application, and we have this public folder, we have this source folder. So public folder is there is only one thing, index.html, so normal web application, and this is the file that is getting loaded, and inside all this source we'll write our code. So before doing any of these, first let's run this app and see how it looks on browser. So the command is npm run serve. So if you run this command, what it will do is it will run a server. You can see on package.json what this is doing. So it will run this command behind the scenes, and Vue CLI service will serve this project. Alright, so it has done compiling, and you can see this on this location. So locally you can see the project as this location. If you open this up on browser, you should see our new project. Here we go, nice to do app. And in network, you can share this link, and in network you can view this project as well. So pretty cool. Also, Vue CLI gives us a hot reloading feature, so that whenever you do any changes, it will automatically compile and reload that. So let's open both side by side so that it will be easier to view. Okay, so inside source folder we have this main.js, and what we are seeing over here is index.html, and here we have this app div with id app. So all builds file will be auto injected. So it is saying that build file will be auto injected. So Vue CLI will inject everything from our source folder to here, compile everything, these Vue templates, Vue files. So in main.js, what we are saying is first we are installing or importing Vue, and then importing app, and we are creating a new Vue instance, and we are mounting whatever this Vue gives us into this app div with id app. So what we are rendering is this app component inside this. So this is the main component for our application. Let's go to app. So here we see, let me make it a bit bigger. Okay, so here we see this Vue logo that we are seeing here, and hello world component that has been imported from this location. So inside components we have hello world, and there is all these links that we are seeing here. Let's change something. Let's remove some of these links and let's save it. There we go. So everything is changed here. So we can even put the styles for this component inside this style tag, everything inside this script, and all HTML related code inside template. So this inside this template we have h1 that you are seeing this, which is loading this message from here, hello world, and this s3. So this is called single file component. So in Vue we create a separate component and then import it like so, and we can use this part of code like this in our main app.vue. Okay, so first thing what I would like to do is I will just delete everything from here. Let's delete this file altogether. Let's delete all content of app.vue. So now we are clean, nothing here. So first thing we'll do template, or if you use Vue tour application, you can do Vue and tab. It will create a boilerplate. So just search for Vetur, V-E-T-U-E-R, I guess. There is an extension for Vue.js in VS Code. So we created template, script, and style in one command. And now what we need is one outer parent div. So this is required. Without this you have to write everything here. You cannot have this multiple child component like here like this. So there should be one main enclosing div or tag, HTML tag. So that limitation is not in Vue 3, but in Vue 2 you have to create one outer div and write everything inside here. So let's do h1 nice to do app. There we go, nice to do app. And you can write it here, or you can load from data. So here first thing we'll create data, and data is the function which returns an object. So before learning Vue you need to learn JavaScript ES6, then it will be easier to learn this. Okay, so inside data we can write app title nice to do app, and here instead of writing this manually we can write using data like app title. There we go. And here we'll create a list of to-dos. So we'll create them inside list item. So first item, and what we'll do is, instead of writing like this, we'll load this from a data source. So let's say we have an array of to-dos. This is the array, and here we have, and we want to load everything inside to-dos here. So v4, so there is this v4 is the loop. So let's say a v4 to do in to-dos. So we loop through these to-dos, and individual item will be called to-do, and then let's load this up here, to-do. Save it. There we go. Let me make it a bit bigger. So this is how we loop in Vue 2 or Vue 3, same thing. And now what we'll do is we'll create a, so if you hover over this, it is saying that you need a key. So Vue uses key to make this unique, or suppose you are using this kind of loop, you have to supply key just to make these. So inside how Vue inner working is, it will keep track of which order of these using key. So it is required to supply key. So we can do like this: to do index is always 0 1 2, so index of array, and then we can pass index like this, so that Vue keeps track of these. So that's just good practice. Just remember, you have to supply key if you are using for loop. That is good practice, although it will work without this. Okay, so now we know how to loop through the items and display them on list. Pretty simple. So now what we'll do is we'll create a form input field to insert to do. So let me make it placeholder. There we go. We have the input field, and here whenever we type this, we need to push this value to this to-dos array, then it will be displayed here. So let me show you how to do that. Let me close up sidebar, and first thing we need to bind this whatever we typed here to some data property. So how Vue works is it is data driven, so everything will be controlled by data, and DOM will change according to data. So what I mean by that is, so here we need to put one additional V model, new to do title, okay, like this. So this is called directives, Vue directive. What this V model does is it will bind whatever user types inside this input field to this data property. So first we need to create this property inside data. There we go. By default this will be the empty string, and whenever we type something, we'll load. Let me display it somewhere so that you get the idea of what it will be. So new to do title. Now see, there we go. Whatever I type is getting bind to this data property, and this will be updating on real time. There we go. So now we have data, whatever user types inside this input field in some data property. Here we go. And now we can use this to push it to array. Okay, so let's remove it from here. This brings us to a new topic, which is user events. So how to handle user events in Vue.js. So we can put a button here, like suppose button, add button, and whenever someone hits this button, we'll add the to do. So we'll do @click, or you can do v on click, add to do. All right, so this is how we define on Vue. So v on click, whenever user click this button, will trigger this add to do function or method. So we defined methods here. This is our data. So here we can define like methods to do So this is our method. For example, let's alert you clicked. Okay, so whenever we hit add button, this will trigger this method, and this method will alert you click. Let's see this in action. There we go. So this is how we handle user events. So another thing, this shortcut is instead of typing v on this, you can just write @click. This will also do the same thing. There we go. V on @. There we go. Another thing is you can control the visibility of any items by using v-if. Let me show what I mean by that. So suppose I have one data property like title, and so title is false by default, let's say, and here I have another this title or any HTML tag that you can control. So v-if so title. So what we are saying here is, as you can see, this title is title disappeared. So what we are saying here is just show this as this HTML tag if this show title is true. So what v-if does is it will check whether this returns true or false. If it returns true, then it will display this HTML tag. Otherwise, it won't display that. So you can just change this from false to true, and then save it. You can see title. All right. So if it is false, it won't show that. So also what you can do is let's create h1, and let's say this is default title, and so whenever show title is true, this title will be displayed. Whenever this is false, we display this. So v else. There you go. This is default title. So whenever this is false, this will display default title. When this is true, we can see the nice to do have this title, and this will be not displayed. So v-if, v else. There is another thing, v else if, and here you can write another topic, another logic like another title. And now if this is true, then it will be displayed. If it is true, then we else if this. So simple programming logic. So this is about conditionals. Let's get rid of this for now. Let's move on. So whenever we hit this add to do button, we'll push this item to this array. So let's do that. So whenever we type something and hit add, it should instead of showing this, it should show up here in this list of to do. So how do we do that? Let's go to add to do method, and here let's remove this, and what we'll do is this dot to do's dot push. What will push this this new to do title. So whenever user types something here, this new to do title will be populated with data, and then we get that new to do title. So new to do title. So how we get this title is by using this dot new to do title. So this refers to this instance, and then name of data property to do title. There we go. So let's see this in action. There we go. So we can see this shop here. Shop 2. So what another thing what we want to do is after hitting add, we'll just clear this out. How do we do that? We do that by this dot to do new to do title. We can make this empty. Save it. So new to do add blah blah add, then it will be cleared. There we go. So another thing is if we just hit add, it keeps adding this empty item. So another thing that you can do is only show this add button whenever there is something in, whenever user types something. So how do we do that? just go to the add button, and here you do that we have just learned, v-if. So only show v-if there is new to do title. So if there is new to do title, then only show this. All right, so let's refresh. So by default it is not showing. Let's type something, go to shop. There we go, we have seen that. There we go, if there is at least something. So later on we'll explore the form validation and doing complex form. I will add this to this series, so stay tuned with this series to get more Vue related stuff. Similarly, you can just manipulate this array. You can remove item from array, you can add by doing this. You can create to-do application, simple to-do application like this, but we need a lot of functionality on full-fledged to-do, like mark this task as done, delete this task, update this task, and all sort of stuff. So by using this array data structure, it will be a bit harder. So what we'll use is we'll use array, but this, instead of this single item, we'll use something like we'll use object, something like this. So it will be the array of object where there will be ID to identify the unique item, and there will be name of to do, some name. All right, and there will be another data like whether it is done or not, false, done or completed, whatever you can see, say, and there will be any other data that you can put inside this object, and there will be a couple of objects for each task instead of each item. All right, so let's do that next.